Welcome to the Netflix Rookie Cup Series here on FMB TV3, race number 4 for the season. And it is at Kentucky, so we have a good race on hands. We have no announcements for this race, so we're going to get straight to qualifying and then the race. And qualifying is finished. It's going to be the 83 on the pole. The 06 of Jeffrey McClintock, who is a new driver. After seeing last week's performance, he's definitely going to want to improve that here at Kentucky, and he's starting it good already. The 2, the 10, and the 44 of Fan will round out your top 5. Let's get to the race. So, as always, we have Alex Bates in the booth. He will be helping me commentate for this event. We've seen now it's going to be 4 races to be completed this year. So far, what have you seen and what surprised you?
I can't say I've had anything surprising happen. The most surprising thing to me was the lack of pit stops at Richmond.
We definitely seen that change at last week at Rockingham. Do you think we'll follow suit this week?
Oh yeah, for sure. The difference about this week and the last 2 weeks is that the track is one of those basic little cookie cutters. I think we might get away from some of the incidents, but I mean I could be wrong. We got those new drivers mixed in, and there's some tempers flying after the first 3 weeks.
Yep, we do know that there is definitely something going on between McCaleb and Alex Gordon, and we'll see where they're starting respectively. As the call for the engines to be fired has been announced, and we're looking at Brent McCaleb sitting around the back, near 2 positions near the back. And if you're looking for
But Alex Gordon qualified top 10 in his second event of the season.
So definitely night and day, no pun intended, for these drivers here at Kentucky as far as the new ones go. Last week, not a good run. This week, starting out good with the 06 and McClintock up front. A new driver for that 06 car, as it looks like Riddle is about to take them to the flag. So for the 4th race of the season here at the Netflix Rookie Cup Series, we're about to get the green flag to start the race, and the 83 of Riddle and the 06 of McClintock lead them to the flag. Look at these guys already, and that was... The rule is you're allowed to do what the 14 did. It was no problem, but I don't know about that. He's going to jump back in line.
I don't know. The 14, after winning last week, it looks like he's ready to get up there in a hurry. He's hungry.
Yeah, he's definitely wanting to get something going here. And these cars are going to fan out 3 and possibly 4 wide for these first couple laps, and not be surprised to see a wreck here. Look at the high line, really getting it done. As already we're finished with 1 lap here at the racetrack at Kentucky. 3 wide, looking in turn 1. Hosky in the middle. 59 of Martinez here up on the high side. It's going to be interesting to see how this high line plays a role in how these drivers race this track.
If it's anything like it has been the last few weeks, it's going to do absolutely nothing, but I think we might see a change here today.
Oh, and one car
almost... we got contact between Alex Gordon and the 43. They're bottling it up down there on the apron.
Yeah, Austin almost turning the 12, and that's a very, very bad place to try to make a move, and that's in the dog leg in the straightaway. Cars get really loose, and I think Zach just got caught off guard of where Alex Gordon was going, but no harm, no foul, and we continue green. Look at the 82. Right to the back of Reeds, who was your pole sitter last week, not doing too well this week, and he almost puts it in the fence. Now Reeds trying to get back as the 82 was almost turning him.
That's Brady McGee. We had a bit of an aggressive one last week too here, and he's also a new driver.
Yep, these new
probably doesn't need to test it too much. No telling how long he can keep that ride.
Yeah, these new drivers really trying to show their muscle, but really trying to show what they can bring to the sport, and right now it's not been too good for these drivers in the last week, and most of the crashes actually being the cause of them being in the wrong position, really. But the rookies, they'll get it out of their system sooner or later, or they're not going to like this series too much.
We were talking about the incident between Alex Gordon and Brent McCaleb, and it looks like Brent McCaleb had just moved his way past Alex Gordon after starting there in the back. Gordon dropping like a rock.
Yeah, it seems that the 12 might have some problems, and he's on the lower side of the track, so it's definitely maybe some engine problems out of that camp real early.
I don't know if it's problems with the car or that everybody has learned that the Highline has grip.
Well, we've been talking about
Definitely moving.
we've been talking about how these lanes may play a role here. And right now, Riddle, he's no one's happier than him right now. He's starting to pull away from this pack, and McClintock is about the only one that can stay with him.
Ooh, that 4 car was dead sideways right there in 3. Yeah, after a good run last week, I would not be surprised to see him at the end of this.
Yeah, and just in front of you there, looks like McGee getting into the back of Goss in the 3 car. Goss not having a good race last week, getting into the pit wall during green flag pit stops. Really didn't give him a chance to make anything up. But now...
Actually, if I remember correctly, the 82 is the one to turn the 3 into that wall.
Yeah, so a lot of these guys maybe having some discrepancies continuing to this event today. 7 laps completed here at Kentucky, and we remain green, but it's been filled with some close calls. And right now, Riddle, he's not winning anything of it. He is starting to lose some ground, though, as looks like McClintock's starting to catch Riddle in the 83. If you're Jeffrey McClintock, you think maybe dropping it up, while the race is still young, dropping up to the high line, try to get something going. But he continues to run an identical line behind Riddle.
I think after the misfortune he had last week, he's just glad to still be in the race.
Yeah, most certainly.
You look back there, right there, inside the top 10, you have the 57 of Jeremy Stanley, who qualified towards the back, but he definitely took no time getting back through here.
Yeah, Stanley's been a very, very, very aggressive driver over the past now 4 races, and it looks to continue here, and stronger than ever as he's moving his way up to what's going to be this time by. He's going to be put 6th, and he's working on 5th with the 44, and he's really trying that high line, and he's been really successful at it. And look at him go, and he's going to get a heck of a run off the corner, and he's going to make ways to the 44 quite easy. Fastest lap of the race ran by the 8 car, Zach Brown. Right now he's racing 3 wide in turn number 4 with a 35.21, and he's got the aggressive McGee behind him. And so we know Zach's got some speed. Let's see if he can really muscle his way up to the front. Man, look at Reeds. He made a heck of a move to get a more than probably 3 spots off turn 2, and he's working on the 57. I think this high line's really going to be where it's at today.
Well, maybe in traffic, but if you look at the leaders, it's definitely like last week. You need that clean air.
Yeah, and now, speaking of the leaders, Riddle is starting to pull away even bigger now. Last time by, he was a .58 away from McClintock, and I'm pretty sure we'll see that spread now. And it's a pretty stale race for the first 3 positions. We don't really have anybody near each other. McClintock's not having to worry about Bell. He is about 0.5 seconds behind him. And then, but we do have some, look at this. Look at Stanley here. We were just talking about him. We got to keep in mind that Stanley had Reeds behind him about 2 laps ago. Look where Stanley's at now. He's going to get up here to this 3rd position quite easily. But Reeds, he has made no effort to even stay with Stanley here. He's 10th. So Stanley making up 5 spots in the 2 laps we were talking about the leaders.
Definitely one to watch here for the finish. Once he moves into the top 3, that's going to be 20 positions gained.
A really hard charger here for Stanley, and it's been like this for the first 4 races, really. I mean, he's really having no trouble. And look at that, going to the high side.
I think if he keeps this up, he might have a record for himself here.
So Jeremy Stanley, after starting in the very back, is going to move his way up to 3rd position in 14 laps. He's got the car, but like you said, Bates, he's going to have nothing to really do with these leaders. With this clean air, you can't really catch them. It's going to really probably come down to the pit strategy. And we haven't seen a caution yet, and we got to remember that. That could change up a lot of things. But I think we're seeing something we haven't seen of a lot of drivers. Look at this. Stanley is catching the 06, and I think he's going to go for the pass in turn 3.
Yeah, I was about to get there. He was much faster that lap than the 06. I think it's just a matter of time before we see that bright green 57 in the lead.
So Jeremy Stanley really putting on the afterburners now. I think if he really wants to do a job, though, he's going to have to go to the outside of the 06 and maybe try to use that slingshot to get to the 83 car of Riddle, as we are 16 laps into this race.
He's looking inside again. Oh, he's there. That's it.
But I think that 06 is when he gets up into that high lane.
I think Jake McClintock might have just learned himself something. I think he's actually going to gain time.
Yeah, look at this.
A lot of time.
Riddle may have gotten something wrong off that corner, because here comes McClintock and absolutely cuts the lead of Riddle in half. I think these guys are going to start learning that this high line's where it's going to be at today. And as soon as McClintock was shoved into the high lane, it was like grip from nowhere. And look at these guys back here racing. And here comes the 27, and we got a pit stop from Jeremy Stanley.
That's really surprising, actually. I think they get about 22 laps of fuel here. I would not be the one to pit early.
And Gilson's going to follow suit with him. So an unscheduled pit stop, maybe. But this could be some strategy.
It's not unscheduled, but it's definitely unusual.
It could be that maybe Stanley may have burned his tires off faster than he, thought. I mean, he did make his way through the pack. We'll see if these guys pit, though.
You'd have to assume that those tires were... There's a leader coming in.
And there's a wreck onto pit road. It's the 91. And these guys are crashing on the pit road, and it looks like the 77 with a hard hit.
There's way too many cars trying to get in there at once. Go back to the up-and-coming spotters here. They have their work cut out for them here in the next couple seconds, getting into the stalls and whatnot.
Yeah, and we're seeing the 77 of Gardner gotten turned hard into that opening on the beginning of pit road. His car is able to get fired back up, and he's servicing the car. So McClintock, all the leaders into pit. Riddle now. We'll see if the last week's bad luck with the first pit stall continues this week. 4 tires for these guys. Now here comes here comes Reeds, down pit road. Does Reeds get it? Here comes Bale. Slow stop for the 83. Slow stop for the 06. Bale's going to get out in front of him. And here comes Jeremy Stanley, who pitted early. He's actually probably going to... he's going to make up a lot of time on these guys.
Yeah, Jeremy Stanley definitely benefited from pitting a lap earlier, getting away from the traffic of pit road.
And while we wait for this to cycle through, we will go back and take a look at what happened on pit road, but we're going to wait until this cycles through to make sure we can get the who's who for now. Jeremy Stanley pitting early, if you're just joining us, now has moved up to what we believe will be the top spot once this cycle's all around. And I think if he gets around games here, he will be the leader. Yeah, okay, so Jeremy Stanley now will be your leader officially. And look at the time that he has made up on Riddle. I mean, not only has he made up time, but he has profited hugely on this lead. And that's got to be 3 seconds or more.
I don't know if the pit stop got in 3 seconds or just the dominance of that car.
So a huge gain for the 57, who is going to, well, not 3 seconds, but almost 2 on Riddle. And definitely these guys are probably going to look out for Stanley. Now that he is pitted early, though, it is a 1-lap advantage. He's probably going to have to continue this trend as the race goes on. And if I'm Jeremy Stanley, I have no problem with that.
I think the last thing that the competitors wanted to see was the 57 in clean air after working 20 positions, I think, in the first 14 laps.
Yeah, definitely a really hard charger there. Let's go back and take a look at what happened with the 77 and a handful of other cars getting on pit road. Happened a couple laps ago when they were making their pit stops. So we're going to rewind this back up to pit entry, going into 3. 77 really wide. And I don't think the 17 actually thought he was going to pit. Stafford with nowhere to go. It's really the 77's fault. But a huge hit for the 77. And that's
Lucky for him, though, I don't think the damage has done much. He was out there racing with perfectly clean cars.
yeah, a big hit, but it might have been the better place to hit. And then we look over here at the 23 of Pandiscio, who came in wide. He actually may not have met pit entry. I think he didn't. I think Pandiscio might be serving a penalty here, as he did not make the commitment cone. Not only that, but he comes in and makes some contact with some other drivers.
Yeah, I'm
And,
not sure what he was thinking there. He definitely almost wrecked a few cars and drives through the grass.
and I think this all starts with the 91 of Streeter, who again, I don't think the 38 was going to pit, and now he does. After he turns Streeter, and Streeter does not meet the cone. He just drives back into the lane. So actually, I think this all starts with the 91 getting turned, and after that, everybody just didn't have anywhere to go, and probably the spotters were telling them to do one thing, and the drivers wanted to do the other. So we'll have to wait and see. But up front, though, as we come back to live feed, the 57 of Jeremy Stanley's 2-second lead has been slashed by Bell, and it might be a different lead change here. Oh! Bell getting almost into the back bumper of the 57, and the 57 slides of the track. Now the 27 looking to pounce. What has happened to the 57? And I think that car might be going sour, Bates, because look at it, it has not getting really any speed off the corner, and I think Bell might be able to get around him in the next couple laps.
Looks like we got a simple case of just losing rhythm. He
And look
got
at
out there with that lead and got pretty confident in himself, being in over 20 positions, and now it looks like it might have bit him.
Yeah, and the 06 just made a heck of a pass in turn 3 and 4. And not only is it going to get him around the 57 and the 27, but it's going to get him around the 59, who is slowing Jeremy Stanley down. And once again, the 57 is going to be tainted by this lap car.
Jeremy Stanley knows his sled all too well. I don't know how many more weeks he can deal with it.
So now Jeremy Stanley is lost 2 positions, and the leader of the race now, the new driver in the 06, Jeffrey McClintock. And you were talking about how the 57 is all too familiar with this lapper problem, and how it's just ruined his chances at really getting a quality finish. At Richmond, it wasn't a good day for him with the lappers, and even a little bit at Rockingham really had him hung up.
You look back to just outside the top 10, and we've gotten back to a lot of that side-by-side racing. Yeah, Brendan McGee in that pack. He's one to watch for sure if we're looking for an incident.
Yeah, definitely where most of the focus has been on with these young drivers. It appears to be revolving around McGee, who has not really wrecked too many people, but he's definitely gotten into a lot. Might as well have wrecked him, because we've seen a lot of people's days go sour with a little bit of an incident from another driver, and then get stuck back in the pack, and then get wrecked by another driver. It's really not a good combo. Closing in on halfway here at the race. 30 of 67 completed, and this race is really going by fast. We've been caution free, but not without some incidents, though. We had 2 incidents on pit road and a lot of close calls. It'll be interesting to see how long these guys can go without crashing, or, you know, this is a big track and a lot of lanes, so it wouldn't be surprising if we go caution free today. So now that the track is really littered with cars that have really mismatched their pit stops, and just slower cars damaged if that, we're going to be coming up on some lap traffic if we can remain green. The 06 going into turn 1, he is your leader. Mud on the backstretch running 31-second laps. And when that car goes by our camera, it does not sound like it's on all cylinders, excuse me. So lap number 32 to be completed this lap right there. And we've got them spread out all around the track. We're going to go to our first commercial break, and we'll be on the other side. When you get back, you're watching the Netflix Rookie Cup Series, race number 4 here at Kentucky. We'll see you in here in a sec. We're back here at the Netflix Rookie Cup Series. Green flag pit stops underway once again.
Once again, Jeremy Stanley going in laps early. You can only guess that the leaders are going to be coming in pretty soon, too.
And we'll wait, and here comes a lot of cars, and just like the first pit stops, we'll see if they get clean or dirty. And so far, everybody makes it on the pit road. Here comes a handful of other cars. I think this time they're going to have a better time because they're not going to have all 36 cars trying to pit at the same time. So once again, Jeremy Stanley is going to pit early. He is a lap down, but this will all cycle through. And if it works out like last time, he will be able to take this lead.
Unfortunate for him, he didn't make up an entire 2 seconds on the last stop. I don't think he's gonna have the same luck.
Goes 6 McClintock out of pits, out of his pits, 44 miles per hour for a little bit, and then hard on the gas. And like you said, Jeremy Stanley is gonna have a tough time taking this lead, but here he comes. He's got the speed, but I think he's just too short. McClintock already
definitely made some time, but not going for the lead this time.
McClintock is up to speed already, so he will get second, but that's all he's gonna get.
Yeah, a large group of cars coming off the pit road right now.
This could be disastrous for McClintock if he gets stuck behind one of these guys. I think he's gonna miss him. He is. He timed that really good, so we won't have to worry about these guys coming off pit road, but some of these guys in the back will. Looking at the 82 of McGee coming off pit road, who had taken the lead and led a lap. He's going to give that away.
Like Jeremy Stanley is still gaining a lot of time on the 06 even after pit stops.
Yeah.
He's gonna have to figure out a way to get around him though. It looks like he gets down to the bottom, it just doesn't work out.
Well, as we wait for these pit stops to cycle through, it's only a matter of time before we have to start talking about pit strategy, because keep in mind that we still have about 27 laps to go. So we will have to see another pit stop. That is confirmed. But how soon? And if I'm Jeremy Stanley, you've got to be happy, because this strategy that he's been pulling off is working pretty well. And if you're the 06 car, do you pit with Jeremy?
Well, if you're the 06 car, you don't know when Jeremy's pitting.
That's a good point. And with these rookie crew chiefs, they probably haven't calculated that too well. But we'll have to see. Maybe if you're the 06 car, pit a lap before you do, and you might hit your cycle right, but I don't know. It's worked out for the 06 so far, so why change it now? But the thing he doesn't like to see is how close Stanley is. We do know Stanley's got a really good pit entry and exit, and he makes up a ton of time. And the only reason Stanley has not taken this lead this past pit stop is because he was not in the quality zone. Now he is.
Yeah, I believe if the 57 isn't the leader before pit stops, he will be after.
So a clean race so far as the on-track racing goes, but we've seen some things going on in the pits that weren't too clean. We got Martinez on pit road, and he's received quite a lot of damage from somewhere. I'm not sure. This might have been following the pit stop incident our first time. He's going to take 4 tires. But
yeah, Martinez has been down pit road quite a few times since that first stop. He got tangled up in one of those incidents, and looks like he's lost about 5 or 6 laps.
definitely affecting the way his race is going to play out. We're going to go to our last commercial, and we will bring you back for the conclusion of this event. Lap 44 of 67 completed just this lap. Jeffrey McClintock leads, followed by Jeremy Stanley in the 57. We're back here at the Netflix Rookie Cup Series, and we remain green. For the 06 of Jeffrey McClintock, he loves to see that. But like last week, sometimes this doesn't play in your favor, and it didn't really hurt the leader last week, but it could hurt it this week if we were to see a late caution. And the only reason I say that is because in the back, they are racing pretty hard. Like
yeah, definitely. While we were under break, we definitely had a lot of contact going into those 3 and 4. Actually, we did 28 and the 59. That damaged car, really aggressive.
Yeah, McCaleb not really slowing down no matter how damaged his car is or the one behind it. And Martinez, as we've seen, was on pit road. He's got a lot of damage, but he's also got a lot of will. And he's going to try to put this car wherever it can be. But look at that. Look at the 83 of Riddle. Riddle at one point was leading this race, and he was the pole sitter. Right now, he's seen better days. He's riding 6th, looking to take 5th away from Games. And he's going to do that probably in the next couple of laps. Not going to do it this one. Oh, look at this. The 99er Reeds. Last week's pole sitter. Sitting 7th. He was way in the back last week when the race concluded. Not a good race for him. And right now he's going to use that high line to his advantage, make some positions up. And so is Martinez. And look at that. He's gotten around McCaleb, and he's now going to get around Games.
You look back there to Baskinger in the 26. In the last 2 weeks, he's been a threat right there at the end. You can only be wondering when he's making his move up there. He can't restart in the final in the last few laps without being in the top 3.
Yeah, definitely a consistent run for these last couple races for Baskinger after starting the season off pretty wrong with him rolling over at Michigan. And now Reeds, who we were just talking about, not only making up around the 42, but he's going to set his sights on Bale, who at one point was looking to be one of the race contenders for the win. But right now I think he's just got back in this traffic, and maybe some offset pit strategy has put him back pretty far. Wondering where the 57 and the 06 are. Well, they're still up front, and they are still...
Oh, there's a car around. That's going to be a caution. This is a big crash.
Oh, yeah, and that is... Walton is involved. Zach Austin's involved, and his car is totaled. And a lot of smoke going into one as the leaders go through it. What has happened? Late in the game. Let's go back take a look at this. Coming across the start-finish line for the 43. Oh, that's a slow car, and it's the 4, and I think... Oh, and the 43 is going to get into him. And, oh, this is not going to be good, because I know what's coming next, and it's the 67, and nowhere for Ryan Williams to go, who started almost dead last in 98. That is a very hard lick for a lot of those drivers.
I don't know what happened there. The 4 was going strong on the lead lap and coming out of 4, and I think it just quit on him.
Yeah, we're looking here. Yeah, and like you said, he was running, and he had Pandiscale right behind him. And coming out of 4, everything's still running just fine. And right there, right at the line, I think he's blown an engine right at the line. Because, oh, and the 43, I mean, these guys are rookies, but you've got to see that. And unfortunately for the 98, he's going to have the hardest hit along with the 4.
There's really not much point on 4-3. I've been in that position a few times, and you're riding around the guys in front of you, and they all move, and you're kind of still trying to figure out what happened, and you're in it.
Well, we cut to pit lane, and we've just missed it, but it is not going to be good for the 06 of McClintock. He is going to lose probably 10 spots. I'm going to say 5. Some of these guys are a lap down, I believe. I think some of these guys are just stretching it at this point. Because I see McCaleb up here, who was 21 at the line. Games, who was 15. The 41, who was 16. Martinez, who I believe is still a lap down. And we're going to try to get an update on Martinez to see if he is still, I think, yeah, he is a lap down. I think he's the first car. Okay, so Tyler Wesley, he stayed out, but he's going to pit this lap. So I think Tyler maybe thought he was going to try to stretch it. I mean, I think he maybe thought better of it.
I think it might have been a little bit more simple than that. I think he might have just simply not caught the field yet and thought it'd be better to stay out.
That might have been it. That's probably what it was. Let's see if Street.
Yeah. After that incident, we've had 4 cars retired: the 67, the 4, the 98, and the 43 have all pulled their cars in the garage.
And I think the unfortunate part about this restart is going to be the double file restart rule. Since we will be 10 laps when we take the flag, it's going to be under 10. London is going to have Streeter in front of him. Martinez is going to have, or be in front of the 41, who is second now. Bale is going to be behind him. So a couple lap cars going to play a factor in here.
Well, I don't know, if we were lucky here and they cleaned it up real quick, we could get it going and still have the lap cars on the inside.
Well, let's go back and take a look at what happened. The 06 goes into the pits, leading the race. So Jeremy Stanley's in the pits, and we're looking at McClintock. Goes in, normal clean stop, goes to the right side of the car, gets that changed. Not too slow on the right. Yeah, a little slow on the left still. Oh yeah, something's went wrong on the left because they were there for a long time. I think they may have dropped it on an air hose or something. Something wasn't right and the officials were telling them, so they took a while to get out of the pits. So let's see if the officials, if the lights go out this time, we might see the rule for the double file play a factor here.
I'd have to guess the lights are going to go out. And
yeah, and there they do. So the rule will stand. Keep in mind that Streeter is a lap down, but since he is on the tail end of the lead lap, he will not have to line up on the inside. So if you're not all knowing of the rule book here at the Netflix Rookie Cup Series, if the race is to go yellow after, or I mean before 10 laps is to be complete, we will run a double file restart rule, and what that is usually the lappers will run on the single file line, whether or not they're on the lead lap or the leaders in front of them or behind them. Now with this double file restart rule, they will line up on the inside. The only exception is if you are on the end of the longest line, or the end of the tail end of the lead lap, you will not be scored all the way in the back. You will be put at the very first position. So what that means, Streeter is on the lead lap, but if he was to get passed by the leader behind him in the 19, he will be 1 lap down. The caution is to come out after this restart. We will not do the double file restart rule. So with that said, here is what we hope to see, a final restart. London the 19. A new leader. The 57 and the 06 are Jeffrey McClintock way in the back, looking to make some positions up, and we are green at Kentucky.
57 wasting no time here, going to pass the 28 before they get off into turn 1, it looks like.
Yeah, I think Stanley's probably fit to be tied at this point.
The 06 also getting aggressive, going in between the 28 and the 57.
Oh, and look at this. They are fanning out 3 and 4 wide, and we've got 91
91
Streeter on pit road, and we got a lot of cars on pit road.
We got another car. I don't know if he hit the commitment cone.
I'm not sure either, and that is checked up the field, and they are stacked going into 1.
That's the last thing Jeffrey McClintock wants to see. Oh, and we get a crash.
And they all slow up just in time, but I don't think it's going to be enough. What has occurred here?
Oh, that's it.
One car into the inside wall.
He's going to get back on track, keep it going, and you got to think we got to be expecting more of that.
What a turn of events here, and we'll have to go back and take a look and see what happened and what caused all this. And the 47, he has, I don't think he's probably going to make it back to the pits, but your new leader, Bale, after London pits for whatever reason. And that almost took out half the field. And look at this. Eddie Roberts to the outside, but I believe he is a lap down.
Oh, he's gonna get hooked.
And Reeds almost turns him.
And look at that, Jeremy Stanley passing by his competitor for the day, Jeff McClintock. He's also gonna be going for what might be the lead. No, Reeds is in the lead.
Yeah, Reeds is your leader. So here comes Stanley, and he's fought his way up from about 8 positions back. He dives to the inside. Look at the 21 of Pandisco, or the 23 blocking Reeds as he tries to go to the high side.
Here comes McClintock using that outside line. He's going to make up a lot of ground here. We're in for a show.
And if the 23 blocks the high side, and he does again, Reed's in a terrible position. Here comes McClintock on the high side. Does the 23 block him, though? He does!
This is, got a lot of this season. The lap cars just have no etiquette.
And the 06 is going to have a clear lane, so that's going to allow the 57 to go by, but they are 3 wide for the lead, and the 06 is around the 23 of Pandisco.
Looks like the 57 finally get the memo. The closer to the wall, the safer you will be.
And now the 06 back into the lead. Does the 57 get around this? Stanley to the high side. Now Martinez blocks the 06. 57 with the run on the high side. Does he get it? The 23 of Pandisco low.
Ooh, that car, the inside wall earlier. He's back there on the bumper, the 99.
Oh, and he's gonna have Reeds in front of him.
23 is definitely shaking things up for some of these guys, but you gotta wonder, is this the night that Jeremy Stanley takes his first?
We'll have to see. He's been working for it over the past couple weeks. Does he get it tonight? Zach Brown moving up into the top 5. Martinez is being a hassle for the 06.
Looks like McClintock might have just trapped himself with that move. He put the lap car into the faster lane, and that's gonna hurt him. Here comes Stanley.
Jeremy Stanley off turn 4. He's got the line. He's going to be at the bumper or the side door of the 06 as they come in to turn number 1.
The last thing McClintock needs is the 57 to get the outside line, and he's going to let him get it.
Stanley runs real high. 4 wide in the back, and they're almost crashing. Stanley with the outside run now dives to the inside. I don't think that's a smart move.
You got to believe Stanley knows about this racing back here, and he knows that this race could be ending any time now. A caution here, and is that the 27 ducking down pit road?
The 27 of Bale is on pit road, so this makes you wonder, do these guys have enough fuel to get to the end? What? That is weird. I mean, we've seen London pit, but now the 27 of Bale on pit road.
Makes you think maybe the 06 wasn't having an issue on that left side. Maybe he was just simply topping off.
Yeah, I think that might have been it. And now the 57 trying once again to the bottom, not going to get it. But here comes the more cars, and they're bringing the lot. The 4 or the 8 of Brown is on pit road, and they're around. A huge crash in the back, and that's going to be the race as a car gets turned. And that's going to be unfortunate because that's going to become short for Stanley, who's going to get second. Oh, that's got to be heartbreaking. The 06 is going to win this race, but the 57 is going to be the loser out of all of them. My goodness, I have never seen a performance out of a driver like today, but that is heartbreaking. And that's Bale coming around.
He must have been in the pit when the caution came out. There goes the few cars.
Now this race could not be over. Remember, we've done, I want to say, almost 10 laps now. And keep in mind, I've seen stranger things here.
I think they're taking the white flag right here. That's.
I mean, they could, but will they make it back around? Is my question.
Oh, that's true. I don't know. Of all the cars that expect to be good on fuel, the 06 is definitely one of them.
But he's been running pretty hard to get around Martinez before that caution come out. So while we are under caution, let's go back and take a quick look at what brought this caution out. That's going to end the race. And we knew this was coming, Bates. I mean, it was only a matter of time, but it's going to involve McCaleb, excuse me. And I think McCaleb's going to run out of fuel in turn number 4. Yeah, that's exactly what happened, and he's lucky he doesn't take the 2 out. Oh, and look at that. The 12 of Alex Gordon meeting Brent McCaleb nose to door. That's got to be a little bit of
I can imagine Gordon right now chuckling as he bumps the door of that 28.
Yeah, that's got to be something he's going to remember in his book. So here we go. We do know that these guys have what we believe to be enough fuel. That is not really the question. It's the question if did they save enough? I mean, it did run hard. We got to remember that. So the 06, he looks like he's going to have enough. Does not dive on the pit road. So with that, it's going to be official. Now all he has to do is run across the line, and it's going to do just that. So with the fourth race of this season, the 06 car, Jeffrey McClintock Jr. steps in this ride. As of last week, not a good race, but he's going to put it back on top this week. He wins at Kentucky, race number 4. And if I'm Jeremy Stanley, like I said, he is the biggest loser of this race, seeing what he did. And not to win was probably an aching pain in his heart. But you've got to be proud of yourself to even get second out of this race.
Yeah, that's a NetFlix Rookie Cup Series record, gaining 22 positions in one race.
And with Jeremy Stanley, that's all he did was sign, seal, but he didn't get the delivery finished. Well, we'll be back next week for the conclusion, or not the conclusion, but for the next races of the season. We hope you enjoyed today's broadcast, and remember, this is FMB TV3 with Alex Bates and Bobby Campbell. Until we meet again.